will introduce you to our moderator, Francesca Piatto.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Sandra, for the kind introductions. My name is Francesca Piatto from the European Association of Remote Sensing Companies, and today I will be your moderator. I'm a project officer and outreach coordinator, and for EUROGI, I'm involved as executive committee, and I have the pleasure to work almost every week with this beautiful ecosystem of women in GI. Before starting our panel, which is very rich, I just want to make a short introductions about who we are and what our mission is, if you don't know us yet. So the webinar indeed is a host within the context of the EUROGI Women in Geospatial initiative, which is an initiative that was born almost in 2022 from a simple but widely shared recognition that while geospatial technologies play a critical role in addressing Europe's societal, environmental, economic challenges, gender visibility and balance in this sector specifically still require active support. And EUROGI, as an umbrella association for geographic informations, aims to bring together public authorities, private companies, academia, and research organizations in order to offer a fertile ground for initiatives such as ours for the cut across sectors, countries, professionals, cultures, and people at its core. So for us, it's very important today to be here with different speakers, to which I will now ask to introduce, and who are the main representative, the leader actually, of the EUROGI Women Initiative's national chapter. So I will kindly ask now each of you to introduce yourself. So maybe we can start with Marion, our main host.
Yes, I'll just unmute myself. Thank you very much, Francesca. Thank you to everybody, all our contributors and everybody who's attending today. My name is Marion Murphy. I am Managing Director at Mallon Technology and the current chair for the Irish chapter of EUROGI Women in Geospatial. So we're delighted to be hosting this webinar today. Thank you.
Thank you, Marion. And just a quick information, your first chapter was began actually back in 2022 already. Yeah. And you've been very famous across these initiatives, especially with your Earth Observation webinar series. So I really want to, and it's your third year in consecution that you're doing it. So congratulations.
Yeah. And we have a great team. So Absolutely. I'd like to thank all of those. We have great committees. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Maybe just in order, I would like to go to Monica Sebillo.
Yes, thank you, Francesca. Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Monica Sebillo I'm an associate professor at the Department of Computer Science, University of Salerno, and I'm current president of AMFM GIS Italy, an EUROGI member, and I'm here to represent the Italian chapter of this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Monica. Yours as well. You started these very nice initiatives from an Italian perspective in 2022. And also you reached a very important milestone in 2024 with a specific award as well. So I hope to hear more from you after in any case, as an inspiration for sure. And then last but not least, of course, I would like to give the floor to Ada and Begona after as a national chapter from Spain and the most recent one as well. Thank you, Ada.
Thank you, Francesca. Hello, everyone. I'm Ada Perello. I'm the communications manager of the European Association of Aerial Surveying Industries, EAASI. EAASI is also an EUROGI member, so I had the opportunity to meet with all these fantastic colleagues some years ago, and inspired by them, we created the Spanish chapter last year. So it's quite recent. It's Begona and I mainly. So we will explain to you today what we are doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ada. Bego, to you.
Hello, everyone, and sorry if I have some background noise. I am Begona Verdejo. I work as a senior business development in the EMEA region for Hexagon. That's a company for developing technologies in the geospatial industry, and I'm so glad to be with Ada from the first step, and we will remind this meeting as one of our great success of the year and for the future to be inspiring for other female colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bego, and everybody. So diving in now in our discussions, the purpose of today's webinar is really to learn from each other and discuss and know more about these Women in GI initiatives and how it's actually developed as well across these years at different member states levels. So we have Ireland, we have Spain, we have Italy. This, I would say, is just the beginning. We will see how to eventually continue these initiatives in the next few years. Feel free, of course, if you have any questions during our discussions as well, to either put a question in the chat, and we will be checking it, and eventually we'll give you the floor as well to complement. But the idea here is to have it as much as possible as a discussion panel across between all of us. So do not hesitate, of course, to complement us. How to start this? So we're going to give it an initial beginning through the different geospatial landscape and national context. Then we're going to address a little bit different career pathways and inclusions to understand also how each one of us own path actually means a story and can support us in the achievement of ourselves within this industry and this context. And then we will see what leadership means to all of us, innovations, and also where the future going to bring us. So let's start then maybe by setting a little bit the scene and look at the context of the geospatial ecosystem and national context. So maybe I would like to start maybe with all of you actually, in order to understand a little bit to focus on your chapter and how it brings your member together and what does it mean, this community that you have been creating. So maybe I will start with Ada and then we continue.
Thank you, Francesca. Well, in Spain, as you said, we started last year. So it's quite recent. We have been mainly focusing in face-to-face events and online presence. Our goal is to raise the visibility of the female professionals who work in the geospatial field. So last year we had the opportunity to attend an event in the Polytechnic University in Madrid. And there it was an exchange and a discussion with students who were currently in the third year of geomatic engineering, with professionals who are already working in the field. So it was very interesting because thanks to these initiatives, they created a mentorship program that Bego will tell you more about this later. And also in terms of online presence, we have a LinkedIn account, Mujeres en el Sector Geospatial is our Spanish name, where basically we promote a lot of vacancies and job offers, also congresses and this kind of opportunities. Also, we talk about gender, sharing some information related to interviews, to role models. And we are holding our next webinar next week, next Wednesday, 11th of February. It's our first webinar where we are going to have two female professionals who is going to share with us the experience following the successful model of the Irish chapter, who has been doing this for 2 years now. Thank you,
Ad. Indeed, you're the most recent, so you have a lot of history back where you can see and to get inspired. So maybe Marion?
Yes, indeed. So I suppose, as I said, the Irish chapter, how we really build connection and community, mainly through our webinar series initially anyway, and we have where we really highlight the roles and the projects, career paths of women across all sectors, whether it's public, private or academic. And these webinars give a real insight into the range of opportunities in geospatial and showcase the diversity of the types of roles that are available. I didn't even realize the expanse of how geospatial really is embedded in so many different sectors. By sharing, I suppose, the real world experiences, we are providing role models for early career professionals as well, just giving people just a sense of the possibility and what is out there, where they can grow their career. And the webinars are run fairly regularly. We record them and we share them on YouTube channel, and we intentionally did that in order to create, I suppose, a resource for the wider community. So, you know, if people want to see what kind of projects are ongoing with public or private sector, they can go and review them there. And then beyond webinars, really, we are actively engaged in, you know, industry events. So what we tend to do is we look at the number of industry events that happen throughout the year, and we try to attend those, create either a speaking opportunity to highlight, you know, what we're doing, and we also try to organise in-person meetups, because it is a great way to network, and, you know, to engage others that aren't aware of what we're doing. So we do those at events, but we also do them independently as well. There's nothing like getting together and having a coffee or a wine or a discussion, and just to encourage peer support. And then we also, like the Spanish chapter, we have a LinkedIn page where we can share community news and events. So that's really how we, I suppose, try to build connection and community among the members. But we have lots more to do. Lots more to do.
We are all aware, indeed. Thank you, Marion. And Monica, from your perspective, from the Italian chapter.
Yes, thanks, Francesca. We have decided to take part to larger initiatives, since it's difficult to find time to have time to make specific meetings and so on. So we have decided to take part in a larger event where we usually already participate. So we ask organizer to reserve, to book for us a space, a time slot, and for our initiatives. This happens, for example, last year in a national conference, ASITA, where we organized also a competition for an idea about an app, a mobile app for specifically dedicated to women. And in another conference, we also had a space and a time slot to discuss about our themes, and it seems that it works well for having in-person meetings. And obviously, we also have a remote meeting, but we prefer, even if they are not regular, since it depends on availability, space, and so on, we try to give more importance to, more relevance to in-person events.
Absolutely, thank you, Monica. And
thank you.
It's true that each country manages the best way they can as well, you know, within our network, knowing the landscape, and how to best approach this kind of networking and bringing together its whole community. So it's true that this range of events as well, maybe it's more suitable for one country respect with another one. So it's nice to see how this complement in any case across the different chapters. So let's move a little bit now more beyond the national chapter, and maybe here I will bring Bego in. Where are you? Do you think the biggest opportunities for women in the geospatial sector?
Well, in the geospatial sector, not specifically for women, actually the major markets are AI, big data, cloud computing, urban digital twins, and that can fit in all genders, right?
All genders.
But when we go to the ESG goals, renewable energy, social governance, there I think we can have an opportunity, because we are a key part of those goals. Consultancy, development, and all those projects in which the curiosity, the initiatives, being potentially active, which is one of our major goals, I think are key. And I think there is where we need to put our strength and our focus on the new industries, new market sectors of the market that are more innovative.
I absolutely agree with this. And do you think from the other perspective, so maybe Marion or Monica, is this same challenges, let's say, that you see also from your perspective in the opportunities, for women in this sector, that you sort of agree as well from your own chapter? I know, Marion, for example, you did indeed a survey as well on this, so maybe this will be.
Yes, indeed, we did a survey, but even from just our discussions and even our webinar series, you can see that, you know, that there's quite a lot of opportunity, and there's that kind of hybrid effect that's happening now. So it's not just geospatial skills, but it's geospatial with, whether it's AI, data analytics. So you'll see, you know, a lot of our projects that are showcased are roles such as I said, geospatial and environmental science, geospatial and data science, urban analytics specialists. And, you know, location-based information forms the basis of an awful lot of that. So it's definitely moving away from, you know, the traditional sense of geospatial careers, you know, where the path was quite obvious. Now we're definitely moving into a different phase. I think, you know, technology has taken off in different directions now. I suppose, you know, it's not as much of a niche opportunity now for people to grow a career in. It can be a case that it's a path that takes a number of steps. It's not linear anymore either. It's not a case of, you know, doing your master's or degree, your master's, and then just repeating that as you go along. It definitely isn't as linear as it was, and it involves lifelong learning, moving and changing skills as you progress, which is very exciting and it's great. It means there's way more opportunity for people to, you know, merge into geospatial, coming from maybe a software development side of things or from environmental side in and out. So it's great opportunities there. And I think the next step as well will also be where we would like to see more women in those senior decision-making roles, and will help to shape our career, the sort of create role models and help to shape a more inclusive industry as well. So, yeah.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more about this integration of geospatial plus, and I also see from different perspective or you know, surveys. ERSC, we prepare every year the industry survey, taking consideration all of our members to give an idea of where the market, especially Earth observations, but we include in any case geospatial activities. Indeed, where the employment is going. What do you think, Monica? I mean, from Italy as well.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Since we are living a technological shift, AI, cloud computing, quantum computing, so new hybrid skills are necessary. So this is a good opportunity for women, and to take since new requirements, new needs are arising. So hybrid skills in spatial thinking, globally thinking, no? Okay. This represents a real good opportunity.
That's great. Women. I also took some notes from our survey, right? And we really talk a lot about transversal needs, and competencies, because one of the biggest also gaps is also lack of these transversal components, right? Especially we have the technology, but then we miss, let's say, the connecting link with the markets, with the business, with the analytics, with policy, that of course integrate then the delivery of a more geospatial ecosystem. Absolutely interesting. So we are now indeed. I think I would like to go now instead from your national level challenges as well perspective. So we see the opportunity, but then what can be these challenges as well at national level, that maybe there are some common ones, but I believe that also there are very specifics at the national level in order to strengthen the geospatial ecosystem in the next, I would say, decade. Maybe Ada, from your perspective in the Spanish chapter, what even if recent, but I'm sure you have seen already some patterns.
Yeah. I think in Spain we mainly face three challenges that are connected. First is that the salaries are not competitive enough in the STEM professions, and particularly in geospatial industry. So what we have been seeing is a brain drain. So people, skilled professionals, they migrate to either other countries or other industries. Of course, we also have a gender representation issue. So we need more women in the field, but not only more women, also more diversity in the events, and also more women in the management positions. So we can inspire others with these role models. And last, what we have also is a lack of visibility among the younger generations. They don't see geospatial as a path. Sometimes they don't really know that this exists as a choice. So we need to ensure that younger generations, they know that this industry is here, and it's also in a revolution moment, in the sense that it's not more a supporting mapping tool, but is a core strategic business.
Absolutely. Another chapter, maybe Marion or Monica. How do you see these challenges?
Well, from ourselves, from an Irish chapter's perspective, yeah, I agree with an awful lot of, or most of, or all of, I'd say, what Ada has to say. Sorry, Ada. There's definitely skills gap. I suppose the rapid pace of change, you know, and that kind of looking for, I think a lot of organizations are now looking for kind of a hybrid set of skills, as I mentioned earlier, particularly with AI and data analytics. And I mean, I suppose that there's a challenge there in addressing that the core skills are available. But also, I know in Ireland specifically, we have discussed where a number of the geomatics courses in particular have closed, and even uptake on those courses was starting to dwindle. So that will really exacerbate shortage in terms of trained professionals in the future. Mm-hmm. Well, even currently, never mind the future, it's only going to make it even worse. So increase, so really, as Ada mentioned there, you know, it's about making these courses like more attractive to younger people, and you know, to schools level, or whether it's primary, secondary schools, and raising the visibility, not just for women, for everybody, because there's definitely a bit of a drain on those resources, and we really do need to, you know, if we have any chance of ensuring that we have surveyors and other similar professionals, geospatial professionals into the future, well, we definitely need to make sure that there's enough policy visibility for those kind of careers. And I think even, I'm sure even with the surveys that ERSC have and previous discussions we had at the EO Cafe, you know, it's not just an Irish issue, it's a European issue, you know.
Yeah, it's also an European, also towards what kind of priorities as well at European level we want to continue, because of course technologies are different. We can prioritize one or over the other, but at the end, when you put them together, EO supports geospatial, like vice versa. So it's a matter of prioritizations, these policies, to make them happen, and so everything else should follow.
Even but even in the land surveying in particular, I know that I've spoken to people on that, and I mean, in Ireland, you know, we are really behind in, you know, the infrastructural delivery, housing, etc. There's crisis everywhere. I mean, to me, it's a real necessity that everyone get on board with that, ensuring the professionals are there to sustain it, you know.
We also, may I, Francesca?
Yeah, of course, please.
I would like to comment this aspect from another point of view. I think that goals are similar, challenges are similar among chapter and so on. But I think that it is important also the priority we give to each goal, since which in turn depends on the negative impact that each issue has. I mean, for example, in Italy, the salary gap is different between northern regions and southern regions. And typically, northern regions are richer, so it's simpler to find more services, and the priorities are different. since the impact is different, comes from different issues. So different priorities comes from different issues, the weight of different issues, and institutions, public entities, when propose dedicated program and policies, the approach should arise from the local awareness of a specific need. So we can compare different goals, but it's also important to understand which is the weight of the underlying issues, which is the impact the issue has on local territory. Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you, Monica. And I think that indeed always understanding what the needs of the locals is and are the best way in order to then make sure that the policy create actually an impact for all of us. I completely agree. And maybe just finally I would like to take now a step back in all of this and again to consider the totality of the three chapters. What do you think is, maybe in one word, one shared goals that unite all your chapters together? Despite local differences, of course, there are. Who wants to start? If one word or one comment, of course. Maybe Monica or Marion?
Being women.
I mean, obvious, but it's true. Good to remember. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
I would say representation, no?
Representation and visibility, I think, is the main set.
Yes.
I mean, I think for me, just starting this with Monica initially, it opened up some thoughts for me. I hadn't really considered, women in geospatial community, as a specific, at the time, but it was only when we started to talk about some issues and visibility, etc., that it really opened my eyes to the fact that yes, there's a huge amount of events and things that we would attend, and there's very little representation. So just to really create that platform for the visibility and for others in the career, for women in early career, mid-career, etc., to see, I mean, particularly because there was probably a lack of role models for me, for sure, in senior roles, definitely managing director roles or senior management roles for quite a while. And thank God that is changing. It's brilliant to see it. But I mean, it was a very different experience, maybe even 10 years ago, so really just to make it visible role models. Yeah.
Bego, what do you think?
Yes, exactly. In fact, I wanted to share with you something. I'm attending a congress. It's a defense congress. So the representation of women this morning in the auditorium was, I would say, 15%, which is much more than some years ago. But now I came to a co-working stage, and I have been counting, and it's 22 people around, but 15 are women. So really, there are some sectors in which it's more difficult to get in, but that they're getting present. But in others, we have more opportunities. So let's find our way to have more visibility, not having to struggle much. So sometimes are lost words. So we have a lot of opportunities. We have just need to find out which are the ones that will give us the best result. That will be my point.
Thank you, Bego. Nice to have you from a live summit. To have a concrete experience. Ada, do you have any comment on this as well?
Yeah, I think visibility is like the common goal for me, the most obvious one. And I have to share also that I'm a communications professional. So now I work in the geospatial domain for some years. Before I was in the maritime domain, which is a pretty male-dominated industry. But still, I was so shocked when I started in the geospatial to attend events where we were only maybe 2 or 3 women among 100 participants. And I was also so shocked to see so many panels of experts only composed by men, when I knew that there were so many female leaders and professionals there who could, speak. And I think it's also fair to acknowledge that there is the global initiative, Women Plus in Geospatial, that it has been there for some years now. It's global, and they are doing a fantastic work in that sense because they have a speakers database. So now if you want a female expert, you can choose by language, by topic, by years of experience, and you have all of them there.
That's a great initiative, Ada. And I also know that there is one at European level called the Brussels Binder. I don't know if you're aware, which is really was created in order to, as a response to these manners happening in Brussels, and the huge database of women in leaderships across all different thematics was and has been created. And maybe there is room of opportunity as well, no? To understand also from us how to cooperate with them and see how, from a geospatial perspective, could be interesting. And because women are there, actually. It's just a time where you just need, instead of going with your most clear choice, you also have other options if you want to look for them. That's really impressive. So. Okay, let's move forward then. So we've seen now this the National Geospatial landscape and the different chapter activities, which are really interesting. Moving forward now towards what the career pathways and inclusions can be, and what do they look like? What are these? All of us have been growth with different ideas, perceptions, representation of their own career that maybe sometimes didn't happen the way it was supposed to be. And I would really like to know, to start, hearing more about your personal journey as well in this geospatial ecosystem. So let's start maybe with Bego. Do you want to share a little bit with us? How did your career path unfolded until now?
Sure. I studied surveying and topography and geodesics. So at the beginning, I wanted to do on the field, to experiment. I like very much to be out, and it was tough. It was for. I'm talking about some years ago. Okay, I'm not going to tell you my age, but some years ago. But really, I wanted to go into a more innovative areas, as I mentioned before. So the GIS systems and the satellites and remote sensing was getting more relevant. At the beginning, it was just one chapter in the university and so on, but I saw it was becoming more and more relevant. So I did a master on that, and I started to work on that field. I had the opportunity to join Hexagon, and inside there, I positioned myself on that department, the geospatial department. Um, I have had the opportunity to be in the same company for a lot of years, more than 30 years now. Everybody is always surprised about that, but I've been changing a lot into different departments, to support, to training. So it's like even changing the company, to be honest, because there has been a lot of acquisitions and so on. But really, what has made me to be now in business development at an international level is, having open eyes and open ears. See what is coming in the market, what is new, what is innovative, what really, how can you get better solutions for very good work. I mean, not working less, but working better to have double level opportunities. And that's what I've been working on. And really, as part of that, and being able to share that is because I'm so glad to belong to this Geospatial Women community.
That's great, thanks. Monica, from your side instead?
Okay. Well, before my PhD studies, I've never met Geography Information System. I had this opportunity when a member of a program committee for a conference asked me to help her organize a special session on land information system, geographic information system applied to urban themes. And in that occasion, I met the Spanish architect Boigas, who was invited as a consultant for the urban plan of the city of Salerno. And since then, I fall in love with the geographic information system. So I started my study specific on this theme, and now I have a laboratory research where students coming from bachelor, master, PhD research, and so they can collaborate, can share experience. And just a note, the person who invited me to organize the special section became my mentor, obviously, and is my mentor. And even today, we take a few moments to talk about our personal experience and professional experience. So I think that I'm here because I met the right person along my way in my life who trusted me, and also my stubbornness, obviously, and my capacity to wait for the right occasion.
That's great. I remember when I first met you, Monica, during the first EUROGI General Board meeting, and I remember you telling me about this. So I'm very happy.
Yeah.
And you, Marion?
Yes, well, quite like Monica, my career path has definitely not been linear at all, more by accident rather than design. And realistically, I came from a completely different background, like environmental, electronic engineering, and along the way I have retrained as I needed, and so I'm a firm believer in lifelong learning. But very similar to Monica, I actually had a couple of mentors that really made a significant difference in probably the path that I chose, and how I developed in that path. So I think that it just highlights actually the fact that mentors can play a really worthwhile role in your career path, and can really provide guidance and a firm role in giving some advice and direction and opening up networks, all sorts of things. So yeah, mentors are always stick in your memory, and you'll have a lifelong connection with them, I think.
Yeah, when you find one, you're lucky, I would say, because it's a good experience. And talking about linearity, I myself not linear at all in this ecosystem in Geospatial. Ada, also from your side, you just told us that you're a communication expert since many years, so you just arrived recently in the Geospatial, and especially the area surveying. Do you want to share with us something else?
Yeah. I mean, it was quite recent, but for the very beginning, I realized that this industry has a visibility problem. I mean, not only about gender. I mean, the whole industry has a visibility problem. So to me, it's quite interesting to be at the communication side, because I have been, collaborating with Geospatial magazines, and I wrote articles for them about the aerial mapping industry. But it's really exciting for me because it's like I'm uncovering something that was previously hidden. That's my feeling when I write articles about what the technology can do nowadays, and this is constantly changing day by day. So I'm quite excited by this part of the Geospatial, and I think it's positive, and we have to work more collectively on this.
Absolutely. I have to say that I love your articles, by the way, Ada. So especially when you publish them from your industry, I really like them, and I share them as much as possible. Thanks. And so I mean, very different career path, but at the same time unified right away. What do you think maybe are the most important skills, maybe both technical or non-technical, that have mattered the most for you, and they keep inspiring you, and you keep using? Maybe Marion, Bego, or Monica, if you have any highlights that you want to share with us.
sure. I don't know if it's a skill or how you would describe it, but for
Yeah.
me, it is. It's definitely non-technical, and it's really, I suppose, the best lesson I've ever learned is about allowing myself and others to get things wrong, to learn from that, to push outside your comfort zone, because ultimately you will reap the benefits of it, whether it's through the learning experience or, you know, I think if you hold back, you won't be able to experience as much as you think. So yeah, that would be.
Yeah, especially in a moment where, at least when I was a kid, I was always taught to never make any mistakes, you know.
Yes.
And I think that has been like the worst things that I'm trying also still to unlearn, actually, because sometimes they just stick with you, right? This kind of imprinting, unfortunately, of all generations as well.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's indeed it's.
No, I mean, any mistakes I made, I've definitely learned so much more than I could from any you know, book or direction from anyone else. So yeah, you know, it's part of life, I think.
Totally. Monica, from your side, what do you think?
I think I agree with Marion, since learning from mistakes is a good thing. Then from my point of view, from my experience, I think that is everything is to take into account. Everything that since we can learn from everything, so it could be useful. It could be a good thing to jump in everything.
As you did as well, so very important.
Yeah.
And for you, Bego?
Difficult to add any other thing, because those will be my points as well. Maybe to add something new is that, of course, you can learn from anywhere, anybody. So that's it. But when you are in front of an audience and you have to give your speech, you are the one that know most. Maybe a little bit, but you must be confident on yourself. Being confident on yourself of the things you know and the things you don't know, both of them, is what gives you success. That will be my.
That's a hard one, though, Bego, to drop like that. But yeah, it's true, and you build this as well along your journey based on your opportunities and what you take in account and what you when you're wrong. So it's the way we grow, and we definitely build our skills on this. And from your national perspective, what do you think is working well in terms of I don't know, based on your principle that you just shared with me, based on mentorship, based on programs, how is each of your chapter, let's say, do you think works well? How are you applying this in your own chapter, I would say? How do we help in concrete?
I will invite Ada because she is the master and commander.
Okay.
This is being possible. And then I will talk a little bit about the mentorship. But Ada, you can introduce all our activities.
Ada, tell us. We want to know.
Well, maybe it's too early for the chapter to assess if it is working well, but I think for us, we see Mujeres en el Sector Geoespacial as a platform of Spanish-speaking people working in the geospatial industry. So Bego and I were based in Madrid, so the events that we have organized so far are here, but our LinkedIn account, and platform, it aims to be a platform for a professional working in the field to meet and exchange experience and to connect maybe Spanish speaker professionals with, job vacancies, traineeships, internships, and these kinds of things. So I see a lot of potential there, and we receive good feedback from there. And we are connecting also with younger generation, which is one of our goals.
That's very, very interesting. Marion or Monica, do you want to complement from your perspective, from your chapter?
Yeah, I can add something to that. So from our chapter, I think the webinar series has worked well, it's been well received. We have asked for feedback as well recently. So there's emerging topics like AI and some other maybe personal development topics as well will be coming over the next few months, because that seemed to be quite a popular choice. But another area that we're looking to develop over this year is really our in-person meetups. They really have provided a great opportunity to network and, you know, to hear experiences and ideas from other women in the sector. So, you know, whether it's a formal or an informal, you know, situation, whether it's just meeting for a coffee or meeting at an event or whatever it may be, it does provide a great opportunity to share what we're doing in the network, but also other ideas and other aspects of the geospatial sector. So hopefully we'll have more of those coming up, and we will let people know. So
from you, Monica.
I don't know how to name it, but sharing experience, it works well, sharing experiences. I think that we have realized that it's simple to involve women and ask them to tell something about their experience, their career. Most of when they are well established in their roles, obviously, and maybe it may happen because they have something positive to tell. So it will be simple and sharing experience. They agree to share their experience, suggestion, comments, and so on. It's more difficult when we ask young people, young women, to share experience. Most of all when they have just begun their career in some specific sector.
Yeah, I see your point, and I share it. When you're younger, it's more difficult not to speak and to share, to make your voice heard as well, even if part of a certain network or of a certain experience. So yeah, I completely agree. Since we are, yes, please, Beg, of course.
Yes, briefly, I wanted to point out that we had done part of the collaborations and so on that Ada mentioned, because I've been, as the university has program with the industry, with our company. I've been there doing different speeches and so on. But we have done our first mentorship that came from that meeting that Ada was pointed out on the Women's Day that we went to the university, and it was a completely success. We were 7 women from different sections of the industry, mentoring 7 young girls in the geospatial area. Each of us did it in a different way. It was the first time, and then we shared our experiences, and it was really something that needs to be repeated. And I encourage you, if you have the opportunity, to also, because it was such a success that all the young men were jealous. They wanted a mentorship as well, and they prefer women for mentoring than men. So yes, it was really successful. Just wanted to share that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thanks. And sometimes when I look back, also from my perspective, I'm like, wow, if only I had access to this, because I think I'm sure it would have made like a huge difference, But I'm happy now to make the difference for myself now, which is still very relevant. So, but I think it's a very success, and I wish you really the best also for the future meetings and memberships of and mentorships, indeed opportunities that you will have. So since we are slowly coming to the end of our webinars, unfortunately, I'm sure we could say more. Maybe we could just transition towards the so-called leadership innovations and in future. And maybe one question we could just select one questions to across all of us. So we think that women are getting there, but there is still a lot of gaps to close around this. And what do you think that needs to change to ensure that that more women shape the future directions of this geospatial sector? It can be from technical perspective, it can be anything that you've seen, and how can we make sure that the next generations of women as well feel supported? We're talking about men, we talk about gender gap, salary. Whatever you want to say on this, I think it's super important. Ada, maybe from your side we can start. What do you think?
Well, I think we need more women at the management position. It's not only we need more women, we need women where the big decisions are made, and we need them visible for others to find role models and inspiration when they are looking for information.
That's true. Anybody else?
Yeah, I would totally agree, Ada. And I know, personally speaking, I have often heard, and I've been in conversations where companies European and in Ireland have mentioned, you can hear them, company leaders saying that they want to reduce, there is an appetite to reduce the gender gap at senior level. There's an appetite to have women on boards and, have equity in terms of the representation on boards. But, at the same time, you have to have the ecosystem for them to allow them to see the career path that's there. So if organizations do actively want to adopt flexible, to have women at senior roles, they need to adopt the flexible working, equitable promotion policies and inclusive practices, etc., to support them in the career stages. So it's not going to happen overnight, but it will happen. And you can see it happening now. So it's not as if it can't happen. But I think even from our survey that we had in 2024, it's definitely more visible in the sort of, I suppose, what I'm saying, general geospatial services sector than in maybe the surveying side. There's more representation in some parts more than others. So I suppose there's a lot of work to do there. And there's a lot of powerful women doing great work in those sectors as well. So I think that particularly in the surveying side, where you'll see huge representation of men in boards versus women, I think that's where they really need to take on board the fact that it has to be very visible. You have to have the practices in place, flexibility in place. And I suppose it's chicken and egg in a way, because if there was more women involved at board level, there would be more flexibility and that sort of thought process and innovation in terms of what their policies would be. So as I said, there was also an instance where there was, even with various groups, often you see more men represented, and they're looking for women to join boards, and then they're wondering why they can't, because they don't have the experience, I suppose. So, let's do something about that and establish some sort of.
It's true. So infrastructures. So if they're in place, then women can access, but also sort of releasing ourselves from the not the problem, but like this idea that results, have to be done in the office. Otherwise, women sometimes indeed are flexible, needs to do whatever they need to do. So it's not just being in the office and stay there. We need to step back from this, I think, and see that, results driven, and then, you can accomplish them in any way you can. So still difficult, but as you said, getting there. Monica?
Yeah. Okay. We know what to do. We know how to do. Who can do it? So we need a more complex and integrated system. Each kind of support should be integrated, embedded in a global system, so not left to the individuals. It should be integrated in a more global system, so the impact can become long-term impact, positive impact, and also sustainable. This is important, in my opinion, from my experience.
Of course, absolutely. Anybody else that wants to give his or her thoughts? Of course, we are now getting to close, but if from our audience there is anybody who wants to comment, I see a message. Thank you so much for your support. But if anyone wants to raise her hand and comments or give any feedbacks, it's of course more than welcome. Otherwise, I would take the opportunity to thank you all, unless Marion, maybe also from your side, or Sandra is main organizer.
There is a question.
There's a question, Francesca.
Yeah.
Yes. UK interest.
This is a good question.
Yeah.
So maybe this is actually a call for actions as well for future chapters. So who wants to reply to this? Maybe Marion, can I give you the floor?
You
Since,
can indeed, yeah.
You are our leader of the different.
Well, I'm not at all. You're
But you
imposing the
sparking it.
leadership. Sorry. No,
Marion,
I mean,
she's the leader of the leader.
I think, yeah, look, there's plenty of, there's like starting a chapter in your own country. Yes, it can be a bit daunting, but I mean, I think it starts small. I know for the Irish chapter, I kind of sort of, you know, floated the idea of an Irish chapter with some of the women in my network, and I was absolutely delighted to say that everybody was probably even more positive than I was about getting it off the ground. So I would say the main thing is to really just start with some of your colleagues, start with some of your peer group or your network, and see if there's interest. And then it's really, from starting it, then it's really just taking some ideas, starting very simply, meet once a month or once every 2 months, try to get, you know, involved with maybe a local event and ask them for some speaking time, or use that as an opportunity to meet up and just literally start from there. Our aims at the start were really, we have a manifesto that we all really tried to follow. We've kind of agreed that, Monica, quite early on. Start the manifesto before we had local chapters. I think, you know, just before we had local chapters, myself and Monica had given some presentations, and then Monica, really, you came up with the idea of having it locally, made it an awful lot easier to create actions and get people involved. Whereas when we had it purely as EUROGI kind of, you know, centered, it didn't open up as many opportunities, and like that, as Monica and Ada and Bego have identified, that there's different priorities for different regions. So I would say the main aim, you can always start off, your main aim is for networking and discussion. And really, you know, I found a lot of our discussions as part of Women in Geospatial have had a completely different focus than general discussions where there's mixed group. You know, I think we just sort of, it's a little bit more open, I think, the discussion. So it definitely, it provides a great support network, a community feel, and I think it's really has been very rewarding and really worth doing. And as I said, the feedback we've had from women and the encouragement and the participation has been fantastic. So I would say, if you want to get in touch, you know, we have I think further up in the chat, there's LinkedIn, the Spanish chapter and the Irish chapter, and just send a message and we can have a chat about how you might start. So think you should get on board.
Absolutely. Or if you want to leave us your email here, and then you know, we can contact you
Exactly,
with the information. Indeed, it's can be the easiest. And to conclude, indeed, the next week on the 11th of February, there is a very important webinar from our Spanish chapter. Ada put already the LinkedIn account for the Spanish chapter links for also the event. So I hope also to see you there for this event. And indeed, I think it has been a very interesting webinar, interesting journey across all these very different components that makes the geospatial ecosystem and landscape very rich, and very rich also for women, and that there will be, and we all very positive that there will be more and more place as well for all women across different sectors. So me too, I can't see any other messages. Okay, because maybe people that connect later didn't see it. Maybe Ada, can I ask you to re-add it in the chat? Thanks. Perfect. Fantastic. So with having said that, then I would like to thank you again, and Marion especially, for having me as moderator. It was a pleasure to continue this journey with you, and I look forward to continue, of course, in the next few editions. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.